Welcome back to our coverage of Conference USA Media Day, coming your way from Dallas, Texas. Now it's time to turn our attention to the Roadrunners of UTSA, and joining us, their first-year head coach, Frank Wilson. Frank, welcome to the conference and welcome today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
And also joining us, running back Jarvion Williams, honorable mention Conference USA last season, and of course a 1,000-yard rusher. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
And one of the most exciting defensive players you will see in Conference USA, Michael Igwagu.
Yeah.
Did I get it that time?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So all last year, the games, I was pronouncing your name wrong.
Well,
But
I'll
go
take
with
what I
E.
can get at this point.
Take what you get. Well, we're going to be talking to you in a little bit because obviously Michael was honorable mention Conference USA last year too. First of all, the UTSA job. What attracted you, Coach, to coming to San Antonio?
I think the city as a whole. You know, I got an opportunity to really do some research on UTSA, and you look at the university and how it was bursting at the seams when it came to the cybersecurity, to business, to 30,000 students on campus. Its quest to become a top-tier university, and the direction that Dr. Romo and Sam Gonzalez had for the university as a whole. And then when I got a chance to meet Lynn Hickey, and so her vision was in line with the administration, that not only did they want to do that academically, but they wanted to do the same for a football program. And then coming into the interview and meeting with alumnus as well as business leaders in the city of San Antonio, and them sharing the same passion and conviction and investment into the program, it was overwhelmingly appealing.
Before you recruited players, did you have to recruit the current players? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, perfect sense. It's the first thing we did. I was very fortunate enough, though, at my press conference. Were you there, Egg?
Yes, sir.
Both of these guys were there at the press conference, so I got a chance to meet them the very first day on the job. The next day before I hired a coach or even went out to see a recruit, I met with the leadership of our team and then the entire team just to give them assurance that there was stability and that they were in good hands. And so we were very fortunate that we didn't have any attrition. No one wanted to transfer. No one was trying to leave. They wanted just a plan and something in place to let them know that they were in good hands. And so I was able to provide that for them first. And so the stockholders were or are the current team. And so they were most important to me when I first got the job, no doubt.
And also, a number of articles I read, you gave a lot of credit to former coach Larry Coker. He must have meant a lot to what is happening now at UTSA.
Well, you look at these young men, you know, he and his staff recruited them, and so they did a fantastic job in finding quality student athletes to be able to start the program. And what he did from scratch, and with Lynn Hickey and the administration and building UTSA to where it is now is nothing short of phenomenal. We just want to try to step in and build on where they left off at and take it to the next level.
Obviously, you were a running backs coach at LSU, and a lot of people say, okay, you had one of the most powerful running games in the SEC. Is it wrong to think that that's all you're going to do at UTSA?
Yes, it's wrong to think that.
Sorry. Talk about that, because that's the misnomer, isn't it?
Yeah, well, people think that, but, you know, I've been a receivers coach, I've been a tight ends coach, I've been a special teams guy, and have had a voice in an array of things as the program as a whole. And certainly in my humble beginnings, being a coordinator, being a head coach at the high school level. And so I have a holistic approach and view of football as a whole. I'm not just the running back coach, but, you know, to understand what it takes for us to win on both sides of the ball as well as special teams is something that I've been experienced with and prepared to step forward with. So have I been fortunate enough to have production at the running back position? Of course. You know, you're talking about 6 guys drafted in the National Football League over the last 7 years. And so, yeah, we've had tremendous success. But I like to view it as just trying to be an expert at my position group during that time. But it hasn't taken away from my overall view of the things that it's going to take for us to have success.
Let's touch on both sides of the football right now. The offense had problems with sacks last season. That obviously had to be worked on. But I think the biggest question mark, quarterback. Give us an update on the quarterback situation for the Roadrunners.
You know, I think when you look at our team and Dalton Sturm being thrust into a position by way of injury with Blake, that experience was his best teacher. He went through trials and errors. He grew up. And we started spring football optimistic and wanted to see exactly where he was at. And he got better each day. I think that they announced that Jared Johnson was coming to UTSA. He took his game to another level. And it's interesting how that happens. But he did, and he improved immediately and he's continually doing so at this point. In Jared's case, was very fortunate enough to coach against him when I was at LSU. And, the thing I remember most is a young player. He must have been a freshman at the time or so, and the physicality of the game took its toll, and he just kept getting up and kept getting up. And his leadership skills and his toughness, all of those things revealed itself. And then this past season, as we prepared to take on McNeese State, one of the games that was critical for McNeese was their game against Sam Houston. And so here's this Jared Johnson appearing yet again and doing those things. And so have a clear picture of who the guy is. Watched him take his team into depth of the playoffs in the 1AA, and just really pleased with both of those young men, and anticipate an intense quarterback battle this upcoming camp.
Well, you've got two tough quarterbacks then, because I did a number of games where Dalton got, as Jim Wacker would say, slobber knocker, and never stayed down. He kept getting up. Michael, I want to talk to you. 3 picks last year and a touchdown on one of the pick sixes. The defense, what do you have to prove this season?
I think we just have to build upon those takeaways that we got last season. I think we have to continue to swarm the ball and be resilient. I don't know so much if it's something to prove, but more so making statements for ourselves and knowing where we need to go as a defense in order to take the team to the next level.
What leadership role do you have to play now?
I think it's almost that it's almost like a support. It's a support role. Be there for the younger guys on my team, that when things tend to get hectic and you can't really go to a coach per se, you can come to the leadership of the program, guys like myself, guys like Jarvion, to where we can be an anchor and show these guys the right way.
You're breaking in 2 new cornerbacks, though, and that's a difficult position, especially in the type of defense you play.
Right.
How supportive do you have to be for those young players?
I think you have to be just as supportive with them as we have to be with sort of like a freshman coming in. Whether they're a transfer guy or whether they are a freshman, you have to be very supportive with them, and it's not going to be any different from any of the other guys that we're supporting on the team, and just really continue to be there for them and continue to be that anchor.
Let's switch sides of the football and now talk about offense. Jarvion Williams, obviously the first 1,000-yard rusher in UTSA history. That's got to be something special for you.
Yeah, it is special, but in hindsight, you kind of wish that you can give some of that away to win some games. So. I'm thankful that I was able to accomplish something like that, but at the end of the day, I just want to win games with my team.
Here's what was impressive to me, though, last season. You were banged up every game I had. Finally caught up to you near the end of the season, but you never had an excuse. You always came in and played hard.
Right. You're playing football. You're playing the toughest game, known to man. So you're going to be banged up. You're going to be bruised up. So is the man next to you. So is the guy across the ball from you. So, like you said, you can't make excuses about that. You just have to get up and keep playing.
Now, the fact you got Frank Selfo, who's an outstanding football coach, knew when he coached with his brother, actually. Talk about the changes in offense, if any, you're going to have this season from last year.
Coach Selfo is a great guy. He's a great coach, and I'm really thankful that we have him. It's not so much a change that we're doing in the offensive scheme. It's more so just, continue to play physical, continue to, play with that controlled aggression that Coach Wilson preaches about, and also just eliminating the minor mistakes that like giving up sacks or giving up turnovers. You want to eliminate those plays, and you want to execute the little details and make sure that you carry that out to the best of your ability.
Coach, when it comes to the sacks, when you broke it down, the offensive line, I don't want to put it all on them, but there were 44 sacks given up. Was it fundamentals? Was it an inexperience? Or was it something you say, hey, let's not even talk about it, let's just try to get better fundamentally? I mean, how did you approach that?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I think at times there are rhythmic throws that has to come from a timing perspective, whether it's the receiver or the quarterbacks in his drops. I think sometimes it's communication when defenses do things with intent to confuse you that an offensive line may not pick up, or in some cases as well, the back whether he's in the right spot to be there for the ball check down, or if he's involved in a protection. And a lot of times the offensive line get blamed for it, or the receiver's not in the right spot and the quarterback has to hold it, or the quarterback depth of his drop isn't proper, he's too shallow, or he's too deep. And so an array of things happen throughout the duration of the year. We made a concentrated effort to try to eliminate those things this past spring. We've continued to do so through our football school this summer and our curriculum that we have. So we're not only doing the things to get bigger, faster, stronger from a strength and conditioning standpoint, but we're also doing things in the classroom and then walk through things that are allowable with our team to improve us from a mental capacity.
Talk about the football school that piqued my interest. Explain that.
Well,
These guys both had a chuckle when I said that.
Well, it's something that we've done over the years. So many times, the summertime is spent in strength and conditioning and speed enhancement, and not so much of that time is spent in the classroom. Well, we've collaborated both of those things. We're getting bigger, faster, stronger, but also from an intellectual standpoint, we're doing the things in a classroom from an installation standpoint with your coordinators, with your position coaches, with the new allotted time the last 2 years that the NC2A have granted, that we're able to do classroom specific stuff by position group, by unit, that allows us to grow. So the transition that happens from the summer to fall camp is that much more seamless.
Michael, what have you gotten out of that?
I agree. I think it's a great thing to be able to go in there with the coaches, study some film, and then go out and do drills off of the film, or play 7-on-7 with just my teammates and go over some of the plays that we just went over the previous day in film. And I think me as a senior, that's something we haven't done before. And I'm seeing it transfer over to these younger guys, and it's clicking that much more faster for these younger guys. And just like Coach Wilson said, I think it's going to enable it to be that much more of a smooth transition from summer to fall camp.
Only have a couple minutes left, but Michael, you mentioned the fact you're the senior. There was a lot of pressure when you had a lot of seniors 2 years ago in 2014 that was going to be the bowl year.
Right.
Last year you only had 6 senior starters, fewest in the FBS. This year, everybody's waiting for UTSA to get to a bowl. Is that in the back of your mind?
I think always, as a college football player, it's always in the back of your mind. You want to get to a bowl game. You want to win a conference championship. Of course, we're going to take it one game at a time, and it's the icing on the cake to win a bowl game. It's always going to be, and when you're shooting for a star, you always shoot for the highest one. So,
Jarvin, how about you? Coming into this season, bowl game.
Same thing that Mike said, just to piggyback off a comment that he made was, it's always going to be in the back of your head. You never want to reach short of your goals, but at the same time, that goal is going to come once you win every game, or you win the games in front of you. So if you win majority of those games, more oftentimes than not, you're going to end up in a bowl game, and you have the opportunity to win that bowl game. So we're just approaching every game with the same mentality: is come in, work hard, and win, and that's what we want to do.
Coach, one final question for you. Is there anything that surprised you from when you took the job to where we are today on a positive side, be it a player, the city? Right. Because there's a lot of talent in that city, having lived there. There's a lot of talent there.
Correct.
But anything surprise you?
I don't know if it's a surprise, but the thing that I've been pleased most with is the resiliency of the players, their ability to take instruction, to take challenges, to embrace it. They've been sponges, and so whether it's things in the weight room, things in the classroom, things on the football field, really embracing tough coaching, teaching, and the criteria that's been set forth. And so here you have, and that's why I heap praise even on the previous staff, because they got quality young men that had a desire to want to be better. And so when we put things in front of them and challenge them, there is no flinching. They embrace it. They're growing day by day. We're bigger, faster, stronger, and from a mental point, further ahead than we've been from January. So I like the direction of the team.
I know you're going to love the city. Welcome to Conference USA. Look forward to seeing both of you during the regular season. Thanks for being with us today, guys.
Thank you for having us.
And we'll be back with more of Conference USA Media Day right after this.